Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined this hour by best-selling author Christina Ellis. And we are here for you, America, to take your calls to give you the right next step for your money and for your life. So give us a call, 888-825-5225. That is 888-825-5225. Well, Christina, we're back in the saddle here, and it was a big week last week. You hosted with Rachel Cruz for the first time.
For the first time.
I've never seen you happier, so I'd like that kind of excitement for us today. Can you do that?
I can do that, man.
Okay. Well, there's a lot going on in the world, Christina, and a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of poor decisions being made this time of year as we start to enter the holidays.
Yes.
And hopefully none of those are coming from you.
Oh, gosh, I hope not. I try not to, but, no promises.
Well, the Halloween fall decor went up at the Camel household, and I'm proud to say we were under budget.
Good for you.
Yes, my wife did very well with that. I'm not a big Halloween decor person as far as spending goes.
Yeah, I lean more into the fall decor versus the kind of creepy Halloween.
I grew up Arabic Baptist, so we were one of the lights out homes at Halloween, if you know what I'm talking about, America.
Do not come here.
Grandma would hand out like the little Christian tracts with the little candy bag.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's how I grew up. James knows what I'm talking about. Thanks,
it was always a fall festival, and you could be like a disciple dressed up as
Yes. The Autumn
angel.
Harvest Festival. That's right. But it is an exciting time. I did a media hit this morning with our friends in Dayton talking about how people can save around the holiday times.
So
and a lot of the times it's just impulsive. The marketing is more aggressive than ever, even already in, early mid-October here. We're already seeing Amazon Prime Days tomorrow, stock up, and then you go, wait, it's not a sale. They just marked it up to $100, and then now it's down to $50, and they're telling you it's a sale. It was always $50.
Right. Well, it's crazy that they're even bringing fear into Halloween candy shopping. You were saying in your media hit recently that they're talking about how there might be a chocolate shortage.
Well,
so
it came from Hershey's.
Right.
You can't trust them when it comes to candy news.
Oh, of course. Of course, they want you to rush out and buy it all.
Yeah, I'm not falling for the fear-mongering. So it all comes down to planning early, sticking to a budget, do your research. I was at Costco this weekend on a Sunday. Chaos abounds at Costco on a Sunday. But we got our Halloween candy. We did it.
Good for you. You probably got a big old bag of it, too.
You have to. It's the Costco way.
It's the Costco way. Well, and I think it's so important, too, right now, as we get ready to go into the holidays, to set your budget. It's so easy once you get into the holiday mode and you're thinking about who needs a gift and what's going to be, what decorations we need, to just start spending like crazy. But now is the time to start having those conversations with your spouse. What can we afford this year? And for some people, it's not going to be a lot. I did a story recently where we were talking about what are the biggest sacrifices you've made with your money in order to get through the baby steps. And somebody was like, one year we didn't give gifts at all. I know, the horror, right?
You don't love your family then, right, Christina?
Right. Oh, of course.
Gosh.
No, but it was a temporary thing. It was 1 year, and now they're debt-free, and they're giving great gifts. So it's like it may be worth it for a year if that's where you're at and that's what you need to do.
Set some boundaries, lower the expectations, sacrifice. I love it. Will you call in, jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money, 888-825-5225. Christy is kicking us off this hour in Knoxville, Tennessee. Christy, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
So great. How can we help today?
So I finished my PhD in May, and I took a position at a regional university, moved across country. I took a non-tenured track position making $45,000, which was very disheartening coming out of my PhD program. So another college within the university has asked me to apply for a position in a different college, not necessarily my specialty, but it would increase my salary by $25,000 to $30,000. I have about 15 years of work left, and the university puts in 9% retirement towards for me, matching for my salary. And so I'm like, do I take it? Do I jump into something that I don't know as well for the money and the long-term retirement gain, or do I stay put?
Well, they think you're qualified. Why don't you think you're qualified?
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, I spent 20 years as a special education teacher and principal, and this particular department is in speech and hearing science, which is actually what my PhD is in, but I don't have a speech and hearing science background. So I'm a little nervous, feeling like,
You have a
maybe I'm
PhD
not.
in this, but you don't think you're qualified?
Yes.
Goodness, then I'm definitely not qualified. Christy, this sounds like a home run. I think it sounds like there's just fear because you haven't actually done it professionally.
Well, Christy, is this something
Yes,
you want to do?
exactly. I do. I tell you what, I'm very money driven, and I love, making more money. So taking the $45,000 salary was, like I said, very disheartening. So the money itself is super intriguing.
What is the job where you're making $45K? What are you doing in that position?
I am a clinical instructor, which is about the lowest rung you can get in higher ed.
And is it in speech and learning?
No, it's actually in special education. So it's an area that I know extremely well. I could do it in my sleep. And there's not a lot of challenge to it. It's just easy to do.
I mean, I'm with George. It sounds like you're qualified for the new position. It pays more. And
It
you
sounds like
literally
you're
have
not
a PhD.
You're not looking for a challenge at this stage of the game. But I'm going to challenge you to take that leap.
To a degree.
Well, you're a driven
Yes.
person. Anyone who can finish a PhD can do this. And so if I'm you, I'm taking the leap, and it's not much of a leap. They think you're qualified. I think you're qualified. And Christy needs to believe in Christy at this point and go, you know what? There might be a little bit of a learning curve, but I have a PhD in this area, and I'm going to figure it out because I'm Christy. And instead of being undervalued in the position that you're currently in, you're going to be making $75,000 instead of $45,000, right?
Yes.
That's worth it.
Gosh, yeah.
If this
That
was
makes it so
Survivor and I
clear.
said, Christy, are you willing to take a job that you have a PhD in for $30,000? You would say, yeah, I'm doing it.
Absolutely, I would. Well, thank you. I appreciate the clarification. It was shocking. I wasn't expecting them to come recruit me. So it was a little bit of a curveball, but thank you.
Absolutely. Well, worst case scenario, you go back to what you were doing and you'll probably make more because they're probably going to base it off of your current salary, which if it's 75, you go back to special ed and they go, well, if we want Christy, we've got to come up with 75 if we're going to cause her to make this jump again.
Right.
Yeah, and finishing a PhD, that's not easy. That in and of itself is a big challenge. You've proven that you can do big challenges, so I would take the leap.
Yeah. I mean, if Ken Coleman was sitting here, he would be yelling at you to take this job. This is what you put your life's work into with this PhD, so it's time to step into it. And it might be scary, but I think you're going to look back and say, man, I'm so glad I did that. The fear and the doubt, that voice was louder at the time, but I'm so glad I stepped further than that and took that jump. So we're cheering you on, Christy. Congrats on the promotion. Well deserved. This is The Ramsey Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs.
We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
I'm George Camel, joined by Christina Ellis. This is The Ramsey Show. You can give us a call at 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. Maybe you're trying to get out of debt, get on a budget, begin investing and building wealth, buy a house, sell a house, you name it. There's so many pieces of our life that are tied to money, and we just want to help you take the right next step in your financial future. Dean joins us up next in Olympia, Washington. Dean, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
We're doing great. How can Christina and I help?
Well, I'm kind of a late bloomer. I'll try to explain it the best I can. I became debt-free last December, probably made about 90 last year. One income family. My wife's retired. The only investments or anything I've started is a Roth IRA, about $14,000 at the end of the year last year. I was able to combine to 2 years and do it at the end of the year and get both years into the same time. And then I have about $160K in the bank, debt-free, mortgage, no mortgage, house is paid for. It's probably worth 3.25, maybe 3 at the least in this market. Looking to retire in a couple of years, if possible. I'd like to retire in a couple of years, but I don't really have that many investments going. Just kind of want to maybe get a little pointed in the right direction of, kind of spooked about the stock market and stuff right now. It doesn't appear to be doing very well.
Yeah, this is a rough time to get in and go, well, it was a smart thing to invest.
Kind of vehicle heavy right now, too. I have 2 or 3 vehicles and a boat to sell, which will probably bring me another 30 or something, So I should have definitely have a couple $100K in the bank free and clear by the end of the year.
Okay. So that includes your emergency fund. Do you know how much of that would be an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months for you guys?
It would be included in that. So
okay.
Subtract whatever the amount would be.
15 grand, 20 grand, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So that leaves you in a good cash position, and now I want to make this cash work for you, but it sounds like you're worried to put it into the market because that money could take a dip between now and the next year.
Yeah, I do have an investment broker that my Roth is through that he recommended. He's pretty sharp. That I hesitate for a little bit here because he's pretty sharp. And
what's his hesitation?
It just seems to think it's taken quite a dip right now, and I guess his opinion, it wouldn't hurt to wait till the end of the year and see which direction it's going. I thought it was good advice, but I don't know enough to know.
Well, we never recommend anyone try to time the market. And right now, while the stock market is down, it's a fun time because the stocks are on sale. And so all those shares you buy, when the market comes back up, the shares go with it. And you bought them all at a discount, essentially.
Yeah, everything's for sale now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's for sale. It's a good time to be going in. I know that there's a lot of fear right now, but what is it that Warren Buffett said? What is this quote where it's like...
Be greedy when others are fearful. Be fearful when others are greedy.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
Sounds right.
But I also understand being near retirement, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking because you want secure investments. We have really great investment professionals, SmartVestor pros, if you go to RamseySolutions.com, that are probably going to be a little bit more confident about going into the market. They're kind of going to advise you not to try to time the market. They're going to advise you to do steady investing and just stay consistent.
We always say time in the market beats timing the market, and that's the truth. The longer you've been in the game and the longer you stay there, I mean, how soon would you need to withdraw? Like, are you talking you're 61, you want to retire at 65?
Yeah, I would maybe at 62, but with the way the inflation and everything's going, I'm probably going to go I'm probably going to have to go till 65. The work for the state, the penalties are pretty heavy.
What's your income?
I made 90 last year. I'll probably make 120 this year and make at least 100 every year from here on out.
And what are the retirement options through your job?
It's PERS 2.
And have you been contributing to that?
Yeah, they contribute. They pull it out of your payroll.
So what would that amount to when you retire?
They said right now it's sitting about $3,000 a month. If I bail at 62, it's $3,000 a month. If I work till 65, it's an extra $1,000 a month. So for those 3 years, they're going to keep $1,000 a month of it.
So we're saying at 65, you retire 65, you're going to get a pension of $4,000 a month until you pass away?
Yeah, not counting Social Security.
Great. And so with a paid-for house and very little expenses, is that not enough? Do you think you can make it with that?
I think so, as long as inflation doesn't keep going super crazy. Another thing that's really beneficial, that my wife's tribal, so we have right now it's $100 a piece, and when she turns 65 here shortly, it'll be down to $50 a piece a month for us for good insurance.
Great.
And that's one of the big things that's keeping us from people in my line of business
Well,
from
yeah,
retiring is
those healthcare costs.
your medical can be up to $800 a piece to retire, or $1,500 a month for both of us, and ours will be like $100 a month.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I was thinking about being able to bail at 62.
Well, I would keep hanging on for now until you crunch the numbers, and maybe that's with a SmartVestor Pro to go, all right, if I bail at 62, we have more than enough to cover our expenses and still enjoy retirement. I don't want you to just scrape by, because you guys could live another 35 years, and so it's not going to be a fun time in retirement when you're just able to cover your bills and keep up with inflation.
Oh, exactly.
So I'd get that second opinion, and if you sold those, a car and the boat, you got an extra $30,000. Now you can invest, almost $150,000-$160,000 into the market, and you let that grow for another 5, 6, 7 years while you live off that pension. Well, now we're talking. You could have a few $100,000 in that account, even if it's a taxable brokerage account, that you could withdraw, 4 or 5% from every year, and that can last you a long time to supplement your income.
Yeah, like what's the average risk in the market right now? I mean, the chances of losing all your money at once are pretty slim.
That
or
can't
is there
happen.
a chance?
We are looking at an apocalyptic situation if it goes to zero.
Yeah, if that happens, we've got much bigger issues.
Yeah. And so what we're seeing right now is it's down 20-25%, and historically when there's been a dip like this, within 2 years we're back to where it was and better. And so the economy's always done better than it was doing, when you look back over a long period of time, a long stretch of history. And one of our SmartVestor Pros, they can walk you through that to give you that confidence. Right now, I don't want fear letting you let you sit on the sidelines with your cash just sitting in the bank. That's not going to give you a great retirement.
And that money wasn't there till recently, till I sold a rental house, my one and only rental house, and was able to become debt-free and put that money in the bank and all that too. So I made some pretty good decisions over the years to get to this point. Yeah,
I mean, at 60 to have no payments, including a house payment, and you have assets you can sell. I mean, even though you guys don't have $1 million in retirement, you're in a good spot financially, especially because of that pension. So I would have some hope and confidence that you guys are not going to be struggling in retirement. But I'd also, like you mentioned, be wise with the money you have going forward for the next few years and put it to work.
Yeah, I sure appreciate your guys' time, and I will get on your website for sure.
Jump on there. I don't want any financial advisors spooking you from jumping into the stock market, especially when it is a great time. I mean, if it was real high, he'd probably say, well, now's not a good time. Everything's real expensive. Let's wait and see how it goes. So I would just get a second opinion, and I love our SmartVestor Pros. They really do have the heart of a teacher, and they'll educate you. They're not going to make decisions on your behalf. They're just going to help you be confident to make the right next step.
Right, and they can speak to that fear. I think we've even seen that in real estate markets, that some agents are very fear-driven. Some investment professionals are fear-driven, and we want somebody who's going to help you feel peace around your finances, peace around your money, because we make way better decisions when we're not in fear.
No one makes good decisions when they're panicked or drunk. So do it from a peaceful place, and your life will be better for it. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show.
I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Christina Ellis this hour. This is your show, America. Give us a call at 888-825-5225. We'll talk about your life and your money. Joseph is up next in Jacksonville, Florida. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you today?
Doing
Happy
great.
Monday.
What's going on with you?
I'm a 58-year-old widower. I have 3 kids, only one still at home with me. I have about $150,000 in savings, maybe another $70 in my 401k, and I have about $52,000 on my mortgage. I just found out today at 11 a.m. that I lost my job.
Oh, my goodness.
Should I pay off my mortgage, or should I just go month to month hoping I find a new job?
I'm so sorry, Joseph.
I was hoping to be debt free in 3 to 5 years.
Well, what were you doing hanging on to the $150K in cash?
In all honesty, I just got about half of that because my mom passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Man, life has just been happening to you.
The last 3 years have been brutal. I lost my wife, I lost a niece and a nephew, I lost my mom, I lost my dad.
I'm so sorry. How long did you have this job for?
10 years.
Wow. What kind of work were you doing?
IT.
Okay. Well, obviously right now, I mean, it's so fresh. I think we have to grieve. Have you even taken time to grieve everything you've lost over the last few years?
No.
You've just been going hard, man, taking care of the kids and just going to work, doing what has to be done?
Yes.
Oh, Joseph. I'm so sorry, brother. Well, I think A1 is to take care of Joseph because you're in a great financial position, to be truthful with you. I mean, you've got plenty of an emergency fund to get you by. I don't know who wouldn't hire a sharp IT guy who has that many years of experience, especially in today's world. There's a desperate need in that field. And you've set yourself up for a time like this where you don't have to worry about money, and you can worry about Joseph instead. You said you've got one kid living with you.
Yes.
Do you know your monthly expenses?
He turns 17 in November.
Okay. And he still is in school, working?
Yeah, he's still in school.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, since I found out 11 a.m. this morning, I've been trying to cut every monthly expense that I can. Yeah, I've cut the pool guy, I've cut the yard guy, I've cut piano lessons for my son. I've cut the gym that he was a member of.
Well, Joseph, the good news is
I never thought I would find myself in this position.
Yeah. No one does. But the good news is you have an emergency fund, and it's there to cover times like these. When life hits you, you're covered. And you can cover the gym membership still. You can cover the piano lessons.
And Joseph, you sound like a doer. You said you have your goal of paying off the mortgage. Immediately, whenever you found out at 11, you're going into action trying to cut things and figure things out. But I do encourage you, like George said, just to take some time to grieve.
Before 11, my plan was 3 to 5 years. But after 11, I don't know. But I hear what you're saying.
And I think it's okay not to know right now. I think it's okay to give yourself permission to take a little pause, to not take action, to give yourself grace on that for 3 to 5 years, to just take a moment to breathe. Like, you have been through it. You have been through some serious life, and this is a moment. You have the finances. You've been saving diligently. You're going to save diligently. You're going to get to a spot again where you can reach that goal. But right now, take that space. Take that space to just sit in it, work through it, rethink through, what life looks like right now. 'Cause you're going through a lot.
What are your views on counseling and therapy, Joseph? Have you ever been open to that? Looked into it?
If I have to be honest, no. I'm not very open to it.
And why is that?
Because I'm so old and set in my ways.
Well, the truth is we can change at any time. We have seen folks who are 70 do their debt-free scream because they decided to change, and they thought it was too late, and we gave them a little bit of hope, and they did the hard work, and they transformed because of it. And so I want to encourage you that it's definitely not too late for you. You could live another 30 years.
God is good, and I know that. And I know what he has in store for me is probably better than I can imagine.
Absolutely.
Yes and amen.
And God also gave us real wise people in our world, like counselors and therapists who can walk us through the tragedies of life, the hard stuff, and help us grow. And a lot of the times that we grow and we transform is because of someone else stepping into our life, someone giving us an opportunity, someone coaching us, someone helping us through trauma. And I'm going to gift you John Deloney's book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future. We're going to send that book to you because I think hopefully that at least opens your heart a little bit to the idea of counseling. But I would strongly encourage you take some of that $150,000 and you put a little bit of money and invest into yourself right now. Because you've invested everywhere else, into your kids, into your financial life, but rarely into Joseph.
Well, and I encourage you to watch the Dr. John Deloney show. Just even listen to some of the other calls where people are going through grief and listen to how he counsels them. If you're not quite ready to go to a counselor yourself, just being able to listen and hear other people and how they're working through it could really help inspire you.
Yeah. So, Joseph, to answer your question.
So don't pay off the mortgage immediately. Deal with me, deal with my kids, deal with the grief.
Exactly. And the money's still going to be sitting there. You can put it in a high-yield savings account if it's not already. Where is it, just in your checking account, your savings connected to that?
Savings and credit unions, yes.
Okay. Well, it can grow at, probably 2.5% right now with a good high-yield savings account online if you want to do that while you just stay put for now. And when you're ready, maybe you take a month off and just heal a little bit, and then we start looking at new IT jobs. And maybe you find a job that was even better than the one you had, and you get paid even more. What were you making at your old job?
At my old job, I was making $130,000 a year.
Oh, that's fantastic. I hope you make that and more.
I'm doubtful I will make that. But
why is that?
Just who I am.
Did you think you just got lucky?
In a way, yeah. I think maybe I did. I don't know. I don't doubt God. God has proven himself to me through the years. But I'm a stubborn person.
Well, we can change that. And again, it's not too late for you. And we're going to send you that copy of John Deloney's book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future. Stay put where you're at right now. Take a month. Don't make any rash decisions. And when you find that new job, go, all right, I got $150K in the bank, and the house is going to be paid off, and it's one less thing to worry about, and now I'm sleeping better. What's your mortgage payment?
About $1,200 a month.
Well, you're going to get $1,200 back in your life as soon as that mortgage is paid off.
Yeah, and as you work through this healing process, I just encourage you to speak life over yourself. I think even in this call, you said, I'm stubborn. I'm not somebody who sees a counselor. We all have those voices in our head and those identities that we kind of just take ownership of. So I encourage you to kind of change that script. You are going to find another great job. You are going to heal from this. You are going to get through this. And I love to hear about your faith and how you're, God's going to get you through this, but also, believe in yourself and keep speaking life over yourself. I think that stubbornness can actually translate very well as you come out of this season. You're going to stubbornly go, I'm going to pay off this house. I'm going to get a job making $140. I'm going to keep building this career.
And that confidence will take you places, man. If anyone talked to Joseph the way Joseph talked to Joseph, you would be angry at that person and say, you don't talk to Joseph like that.
Right?
He's a good guy. He works hard. He takes care of his family. He's been through a lot. And I think it's hard sometimes to get rid of that negative self-talk and step into what we were called to do. So, Joseph, we're cheering you on. I hope Dr. John Deloney's book helps you. Hang on the line. Austin will pick up. We'll make sure to send you a copy of that. And we're wishing you the best, my friend. This is The Ramsey Show. We know a lot of you are scared right now between inflation and debt payments. You feel like you're drowning. And you're terrified you won't have enough to take care of your family. But you shouldn't have to live in fear. But you have to get to the point where you say, I've had it, and then decide you're ready to make a change. Because you can't keep doing the same things with money and expect different results. And that means it's time to try something new. And that thing is Financial Peace University. This is the course that will teach you the proven step-by-step plan that's helped nearly 10 million people beat debt, master budgeting, and build wealth. And you can do this too. Guys, stop letting debt and money stress control your life. Say I've had it and take back your control. Start Financial Peace University at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Open phones this hour at 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk your life and your money. Lacey joins us up next in Atlanta. Lacey, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Absolutely. How can we help today?
Okay, so I have a question. My husband and I have been following Dave's advice religiously for about 7 years. I took Financial Peace University at my church when I was 29.
Awesome.
And yeah, I know. It has been awesome. It's gotten us to a great place. So we own a business. Our business is debt-free. We are debt-free personally. And we're ready to start investing. We have a year's worth of our bills in savings. And now we're past that point, and we've started saving for the kids' colleges. We have money invested. And so the next step is to continue investing, and I'm in real estate, and my dream is to have a cabin in North Georgia, which is like an hour from where we live, and we want to rent it out, like as an investment property on VRBO, Airbnb, that sort of thing. And so we would only be putting down about 20%, which Dave would say not to do that because we're going into debt, right? But our monthly income is on average about $11,000 to $12,000 a month, and our mortgage on our primary home, which is our only debt, is about $1,700. So my question is, if Dave, under his plan, technically we could sell our house and buy a more expensive house and still be within his plan, but why can't we take on the debt, but half of our mortgage payments would be income producing? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I understand. You're making the analogy of, well, if I got the rental property, it would be the same as if I had a bigger mortgage.
Right, but that would be income producing.
Yeah, the difference is it's not your primary residence, so you don't live there, and so it's up to another tenant to hopefully produce that income. Your primary residence doesn't produce any income. It's just for you guys to live. So what's left on your mortgage?
Well, we owe about $250,000, but it's worth significantly more because we bought in early 2020 and then prices shot up. And also, we've put a lot of money into it, which we didn't finance anything. We paid cash, so we've increased the value that way as well.
How much is it worth now?
It's worth probably around $475, I would say.
Okay. Well, one thing is, for real estate agents, it's easy to get starry-eyed when it comes to real estate. Of course, you love real estate.
Right, and I understand it, right? And so now that I can invest more, I would rather invest in real estate because I understand it and it's a tangible asset rather than put my money in the stock market because I don't understand the stock market, A, and B, everybody around me keeps talking about losing money, and C, my parents are baby steps millionaires, and they have a significant amount of money in the stock market that's going to be left to us because they're living off of their pension and their Social Security. So I feel like I'm already invested in the stock market in a way.
Okay. Well, you said you follow our stuff religiously, but it sounds like you guys did the 30-year mortgage on that house, right?
Well, that is true. So
Thank you. 1 point for George. Boom. So, Lacey,
got me, George.
It's fine. I mean, you guys, you make great income. This is not about the math at this point, and you can math your way into all kinds of decisions all day long. Our plan is about peace. And as I'm looking down, I'm going, you guys make $12K a month and you're still hanging on to a mortgage for fun? What are we doing here? Pay off that mortgage, and how quickly could you then save up and pay cash for this new property? And have that be the dream, and then you're not worried about tenants.
I would be like 50, I feel like, by the time I paid off $250,000 and then save up another $250,000.
How old are you?
And put my children through college.
How old are you guys?
I'm 36, and he is 41. But also, okay, there's an added benefit. It's like making memories in the country, away from technology, in the mountains.
You can do that without buying a rental property while having a mortgage.
Yeah, you can use Airbnb and VRBO. Be the renter for that.
Oh, Lacey. Listen, if you called to justify your decisions, you're not going to get that from us. Is this going to tank you guys financially? No. You will live to see another day. You're going to be just fine. You mentioned you've got inheritance and you're worried about the stock market. I would encourage you to learn about the stock market and have that be a piece of the puzzle to diversify your portfolio a bit. Because as we've seen, sometimes when the stock market's down, real estate's up. There can be some interesting relationships there. But no, I can't in good faith tell you to go get another mortgage while you have your mortgage, and you guys make great money. You're just not making great use of it. And like I said, our plan's about peace. And when you've got a paid-for primary residence and then you invest with property using cash, it changes the game. It changes everything.
Right. Well, and you're mentioning putting 20% down on this new property. Throw that 20% towards your current mortgage. You also said you have a year's worth of bills.
Again, not something we would tell. I mean, 6 months max is enough for you guys.
Right. So I think just taking some of that and throwing it towards your primary residence, you're going to see some big progress fast and start that momentum. And then with your income, you guys do have quite a good income right now. And I know it sounds intimidating, but I don't think it's going to be 50 before you can pay it off and before you can get a new property and invest in real estate.
$12K a month take home. It's not going to take 14 years.
I mean, we see people all the time on the debt-free stage paying off houses in a much quicker time span. So I believe you can do this a lot quicker and still fulfill that dream of investing in real estate.
Yeah. So you can do Lacey's plan, and you guys will truthfully, you're going to be okay. I'm not that worried about you guys. You have a fantastic income. You have some decent money principles going on here. You've got the inheritance. But if you want to do it our way with a lot more peace and a lot less risk, that's what I'd tell you to do. Go low and slow like a crock pot. That's the way to do it. All right, let's take a, well, I don't know if we have time for Benny. We'll have to wait for Benny for the next hour, Christina. I'm sorry. I hate to do that to him.
Be the tortoise. I think especially right now with, inflation and money being tight in people's budgets, I think there's a lot of different opportunities for people to try to use kind of financial trickery. They see the numbers and they see the money and things are flashier and they're cooler and it looks like you can make progress faster. But we just encourage you to be willing to use God and Grandma's ways of doing money. It may not be the flashiest thing, but some of these principles, while they're not the quickest, they work.
Oh, yeah.
They work.
And me and my wife, we were on the debt-free stage back in January, doing our debt-free screen for paying off our house. And there's just nothing like it. And, people, even financial advisors I would talk to, and they're like, dude, you're an idiot. Why would you pay off your house? You could have invested that in the market, and it could have been, and it could have is the key word there. Could. But I can tell you, we have no mortgage payment. That's a definitive statement when you can sit in your paid-for house and go, there's no coulds, there's no risk here. We have no payments, and you can't really put a number on that. A lot of it is emotional and mental and spiritual, and you can math your way into all of these decisions all day long. But when you decide to do something so countercultural and so different and challenge yourself to make that level of sacrifice for that period of time, it changes your character.
Right. Well, and it's like you're aiming towards something. So much of money, it's about behavior change, not just head knowledge. And it's like when you have that goal that you're working towards, it just provides a fire that you're not going to have when you're just kind of hoping the numbers are a little bit more strategic.
Amen. Good words, good hour, Christina. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to Austin and Ben and James and Zach and Andrew in the booth, my co-host Christina Ellis, and you, America. We thank you for listening. We will be back with you before you know it. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Campbell, host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership Podcast, joined by best-selling author Christina Ellis this hour, and we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk about life, money, debt payoff, budgeting, building wealth, and so much more. Benny is kicking us off this hour in Seattle. Benny, welcome to the show.
Hi there, long-time listener, first-time caller. Thanks for having me on the show.
Appreciate you listening and calling.
Yeah, welcome.
What's going on with you?
Hey, so my question is we borrowed some money from my annuity a couple years back, put down on a house. We had the 10%, but we wanted the 20% to avoid the mortgage insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're about halfway through that. We got about $18,500 left to pay off. And we're kind of wondering if we should pay it off. So we got about $50,000 in savings right now. And so we could pay it off in full, but with the market right now, we're kind of like hesitant because it's just not doing really well. And so that's where the money would end up going. And we get like 5% right now on this money that we're paying monthly back to that loan.
Mm-hmm. That will create a monthly income?
Well, yeah. So the annuity is just for when I retire.
Why did you jump into the annuity to begin with?
Well, so my annuity is from my work. So it's through my job. I get an hourly amount of money put towards it. It comes to about $1,100 a month.
Okay. So if you paid this $18,500 today, what would it do for you financially?
It would just go into that annuity account, and right now it'd start to lose money. But like I said, we listened to the show, and you guys are pretty adamant about putting that money into the market, even though it's not doing well right now.
Yeah, it's similar to borrowing against your 401k, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So if this was a 401k loan, we would say go ahead and pay it off today, regardless of what the market's doing. And so you've got $50K. Right. I mean, that still leaves you with, what, $31,500 in cash?
Right.
And that's your emergency fund and plus a little more?
So, yeah, we have $35,000 in our emergency fund.
Oh, that's separate.
$18,000 in savings and $4,000 in checking.
Oh, okay, that's what makes up the $50K.
Right.
Yeah. I'm paying off that the annuity loan today and being done with that. And if you need to restock a little bit to get you back to a good place with the emergency fund, which it doesn't sound like it should. It sounds like you should still have plenty for 3 to 6 months of expenses.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just we're like, with our budget right now, we aren't quite making it, and we're trying to cut some corners, and
is it an
carve
income
some
problem
things out.
or is it an expense problem?
It's an income problem. Right now, my wife, she lost her job and she just got a new one back, but we've been living in the red for probably about 4 months now. And
how have you been surviving?
To dig into our savings. Well, just off of my money and our savings. I mean, the money that I've been getting paid monthly.
Okay.
With our bills, we're probably about $1,200 in the red right now. So we're trying to.
But you're
come
not
up
touching
with,
debt to do that. You're just draining your savings essentially to survive.
Yes.
Okay.
And with your wife's new job, will your income be right back at a spot where you can afford your payments, you can afford your budget?
I think it's going to put us closer if we can get this paid off. We just got a few more things we're going to have to carve out, but this is the big one, and this is the one we just aren't sure about. It's kind of scary investing or throwing money in and watching it just go down.
But it's also kind of scary feeling like you owe something. Like, I can feel the weight and the heaviness in your voice. Like, that's one of the things you're like, with this payment I have to make towards this, it feels kind of, heavy. We can't really afford that. So it's like at least getting that out of your life now and finishing with that 18.5. That's done. And then you can focus on rebuilding that savings.
Is that all the debt you have, is the 18.5?
No, it's not. So we have a solar loan.
Oh, man.
That is $115 a month.
What was the total loan you took out for that?
It was like $37,000.
No wonder you guys are feeling tight. You got payments everywhere. What else do you have?
Well, all our vehicles are paid off.
Okay, good.
So we don't have any of those. We just have our mortgage that's about $3,000.
Oh, man, that's high. What's your take-home pay?
So after taxes, I make about $1,800 a week.
Okay, but with your wife's new job, what's your new household take-home pay?
So yeah, we're probably going to be around $400 more. So you're probably looking at like
$2,200 a month or a week?
Yeah.
Okay, so at $2,200 a week, that puts you guys at, let's see, about 114 take-home pay. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right. Yep.
Okay. So the issue I'm seeing here is you've got quite a hefty mortgage, even compared to your take-home pay.
Right.
Because you split that into, $3,000 into $9,500, which is what your monthly take-home pay, and you're talking 32%. Now, that's not the only thing that's stealing from your paycheck here. It's also the solar loan and the annuity and all these different things. And so I'm going to put you guys onto Every Dollar Premium so that you guys can start to do a monthly written budget. You can use the app. You can do it online. And I want you to do this together as a couple. And once you do that and everything is listed, income minus expenses equals 0, go through every expense and go, are we doing as best as we can on this expense? Can we cut it? Can we do our research? Can we get this insurance premium down? Can we cut eating out this month? Right now, you guys have to find that traction and get back in the black. Would you agree?
Right. Yeah,
okay.
Totally.
Well, I hope that helps, Benny. I know things are tight right now, and that's one of the things that makes me so angry about debt is you look up and you go, we're making great money. Where is it all going? And it's going to lenders so that they can make big buildings and sponsor stadiums while you're over here wondering how you're going to put food on the table next week. So let's get all of this debt out of our lives. The solar's next, and then later on we can deal with the mortgage. But hang on the line. Austin's going to pick up. We're going to gift you 1 year of Every Dollar Premium, as well as Financial Peace University, our 9-lesson course that you can watch with your wife to get fired up about getting out of debt and building wealth. Thanks for the call, Benny. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
I'm George Camel, joined by Christina Ellis this hour. This is The Ramsey Show. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. Houston, Texas is where we go next. Matt joins us there. Matt, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I got a question. Good. Got a question. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely.
My mother recently passed away.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Well, thank you. And my siblings and I are going through the process of going through her IRAs and cash. And after it's all said and done, I stand to inherit around $90,000.
Okay.
Around $72,000 of that is going to be in an IRA, in a 401k. And I have been advised to open up in the inherited IRA aspect. My question is, should I take that IRA that I'm inheriting and cash it out and pay off my mortgage? Or should I take the required minimum distribution over several years for the taxes? I'm very confused about how to do this.
Now, was this a traditional IRA or was it a Roth?
Yeah.
Both were
No,
traditional?
Traditional.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And have you looked into the tax implications of cashing this out?
Well, I from my understanding, it's going to be at my tax rate, which is 24%.
Okay. And so factoring that in, are you able to pay off the house?
Just about.
What's left on the mortgage?
I'm sorry?
What's left on the mortgage?
$74,000.
Okay.
And I have about 4 years left on that mortgage.
Do you have any other debts?
No.
And fully funded emergency fund?
I have almost, but with the cash that's coming from the inheritance as well, I planned on even cushioning the emergency fund.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I know my plan if I'm in your shoes, and I'm going to fill up that emergency fund and use the rest to pay off the house.
And take the initial hit on the taxes right away? Okay.
Yeah, you've done a really good job with your money. The fact that you have no other debt and that this inheritance could wipe out your mortgage, I mean, very close to wipe out your mortgage is amazing. And personally, I mean, it's obviously not the most ideal way to get money. That is so sad. But also, it's just an amazing way to honor your mother, to have that, leave that legacy with that money where you wipe out your mortgage, you're debt-free after that. That's what I'm doing.
That's a great place to be. And I still would talk to a tax advisor anytime you have a big chunk of money coming in. There's a few people I want to make sure I talk to and get some second and third opinions. One is a tax pro, and another is a financial advisor. And so you can reach out to both of those at RamseySolutions.com. We've got tax pros. We've got SmartVestor pros on the investing side. And I'd walk through your plan with them and see what they think about it. But on my end, other than the tax implications, this is going to be worth it because you're not having to pay your mortgage anymore. You're going to be saving on the interest you were paying on that mortgage. So there's a lot of benefits to that. And now you can use that money instead towards building wealth.
Okay. That's kind of the way I was leaning. I was just I saw that tax bill and I thought, oh gosh.
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
know if it
definitely keep that money set aside for come tax time. Don't go do anything rash with it. But as long as the money's there, I mean, it's not like there's you have this money coming in from the IRAs, and so it's not really like you're having to pony up yourself. It's just they're taking a cut, and they're going to anyways eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's sort of the way I'm looking at it. They're either going to get it all up front or they're going to get it incrementally when I have to take it out.
Exactly. So that's what I'm doing. I mean, it's going to set you up for freedom a lot faster. So I see this as a huge blessing and an incredible legacy left.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Matt. All right, Zach is up next in Richmond, Virginia. Zach, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, what's going on with you?
So my question is, I am a recent college graduate who has a decently paying full-time job at $62K a year, and I also have still a car loan and student loan debts of about $45,000. And my question is, what should I do as far as my finances over the next couple of years to get those paid off? And should I invest in retirement already, and so on?
Sure. How old did you say you were?
22.
22. Making $62K. What kind of work are you in?
Financial analyst.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you're a numbers guy. Right?
Yep.
You got to stare at numbers all day long, which means you know how this works with your debt and your interest and your paychecks. This is not anything new to you.
That is correct.
Are you currently on a budget?
I don't have a personal budget, but I do use the Rocket Money app, formerly Truebill, to track my spending and income.
Okay. Well, I've used those apps in the past. Before I knew Dave, I was like, well, I'm doing great because I'm tracking it. The problem is when you don't plan for it up front, you're just seeing what happened. You're just looking at the past instead of actually planning for the future and sticking to it. So I'm going to do you a favor and gift you 1 year of every dollar premium so that you can begin to make a plan for that money as well as track it. And the goal is to stay within your budget categories. And it usually takes people about 3 months to dial this in. But what happens is you start to pay attention to where every dollar is going, and you start to get angry and go, why am I spending so much money? Oh, my gosh. I'm just bleeding out in this area, eating out. I need to cut back on that. And so I think that will help you make a plan for every one of these dollars coming in. So how many debts do you have if you parse them all out? You said you got student loans and car loans.
I think my student loans break into like 17 different ones.
Wow.
Other than that, it's just a car loan and a revolving credit card that I pay off every month.
Okay. So step number 1, if you want to join the club of weirdos, you got to cut up the card. Does that bother you? Could you stick to a debit card?
Yeah, I really only use it for the cash back. I treat it like a debit card already.
What's the cash back on there?
2%.
Okay.
On everything.
What if I told you by doing a budget, you're going to give yourself 2% cash back by making wiser decisions? Would you believe me?
I could see it.
Because that 2%, I mean,
yes,
how much are you really spending a year making $62K that you're putting on the card?
That's a great question.
Maybe $20,000.
Purchase, so.
That's if you're going crazy. $20,000 on the card. Sound fair?
Yeah, probably what, $200?
That's $400 if you get 2% cash back. That sucks.
$400, right? 100%.
I could make you $400 easier this month, just with wise spending and side hustles. So, if you're willing to go and be that crazy, cut up the card, use a debit card, and list out your debts from smallest to largest. And then we're going to attack the little one first. So that smallest student loan is probably what, $1,000?
Mm-hmm.
And so that one's going to get knocked out quick. Do you have any money in the bank?
Yeah. I've got about $6,000.
Oh, awesome. Well, this gives us a head start. And again, part of this plan is doing some weird stuff. And so baby step 1 is a $1,000 starter emergency fund. You have that. But that means the rest of that $5,000 would go towards those student loans and probably knock out the first few bunch, right?
Mm-hmm. I also might be able to take advantage of the Biden administration student loan forgiveness. We'll see if that actually happens.
Sure.
Yeah, we wouldn't necessarily count on that, but if we should know soon. They said by next week, October 17th, we should have a little bit more information. But
They said.
But they also said the beginning of the month, so it keeps getting pushed back. TBD.
Feels like your dad being like, son, I'm going to take you to Disney.
Open for it. I was not banking on that at any point.
Sure. Well, I did this 30-day trial. An older woman called in maybe about a month or two ago, and she did a 30-day trial. She believed me and said, I'm going to try using a debit card instead of my credit card and see if it changes my money behavior at all. And she called us back, and she said, you'll never believe it. I saved so much money by not using the credit card. And part of it was the psychology of that cash back, and part of it was it's my money, and I'm going to treat it differently than someone else's money. And so I'm rooting for you, Zach. Hang on the line. We're going to gift you 1 year of Every Dollar Premium, and we'll throw in Financial Peace University to give you the exact plan you need to do to get rid of this debt and finally start building real wealth. But man, at 22, making $62K, you're going to knock this debt out. Call us back, and maybe you can do a debt-free scream. That'd be fun. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why they are the #1 online retailer of custom window covering. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from JC in Utah. My wife and I are on baby step 2 with $148,000 in debt. My wife, who uses a wheelchair, works from home, and we have a nanny that takes care of our children while she's working. After reading Total Money Makeover and listening to the podcast, I'm fired up and ready to knock this debt out. My wife is not 100% on board and would like me to be less intense. With a little time for herself, she enjoys splurging on takeout and designer coffee, and she thinks ordering takeout 1 to 2 times a week is okay. We use every dollar and can budget for these expenses, but I keep hearing you in my head saying sacrifice. Part of the challenge is I've done FPU and she hasn't. Should I slow down and wait until we are on the same page or keep pushing on my own?
Oof.
Oh, that's tricky.
Yeah, this is a lot more relational than it is financial. We don't have a lot of numbers here other than they have a giant pile of debt at $148,000. No clue how much they make. It could be $60, it could be $300. But it doesn't matter because the point of this is that his wife is not on board. She hasn't done FBU. She doesn't get it.
Right, and we don't know how these conversations have gone so far. So has JC come in with a really honest and upfront conversation that was calm and rational, or has it been kind of whiny and naggy? That's kind of hard because
Dave said we got to get out of debt. You can't eat.
And now his wife sees Dave's name as a cuss word.
Yep, that's what happens.
We often recommend, you want this to be an adventure and an exciting thing. And, a lot of times one spouse gets so on board and they're just like, yes, and they go so hard that they kind of scare off the other spouse.
Oh, yeah. Don't do that. Pro tip, guys, never use that approach of going through FPU by yourself, first of all, because then they have no idea what you're talking about, and you're just coming in yelling, got to be gazelle intense. Dave said we can't eat out. That's not going to work. And so, JC, number one, get her to go through FPU with you. If she's unwilling to do that, it tells me there's probably some deeper marital problems here that may require some counseling to go, hey, we can't even talk about money without it being a blow-up fight. And this is a deeper issue.
Yeah, and I mean, women tend to be wired for relationships and security. So, come at that conversation with, your heart for helping secure the family finances for the future. I mean, $148,000 in debt, that's a lot of debt. That really puts you guys in a vulnerable position. So I just think you could frame that conversation in a way that really speaks to her heart, that lets her know, hey, I'm not just trying to do this to make you give up your coffees and takeout. I'm not just trying to make your life inconvenient. I'm trying to do this because I see a vision for our future where we're not carrying around this massive debt and we're not stressed out, and our children can have that security and we can leave them a legacy. Like try kind of reframing the conversation in a way that really speaks to her heart and just encourages her.
Yeah. And what I'm seeing here is she would like me to be less intense. Well, the other side of intensity is complacency. And that's not somewhere we need to hang out very long, because that is how we got into $148K in debt in the first place. Is just kind of wandering through our financial life and just, we'll worry about, hey, that's a future George problem. We don't need to worry about that right now. And so my guess is she's not very involved in finances at all, because someone here is stressed, and it sounds like it's JC, because he's been crunching the numbers going, $148,000 in payments adds up to thousands of dollars a month, and we can scrape by right now probably because they have a great income if they can afford a nanny and takeout and coffee. I mean, that's the American dream right there. But the problem is this is turning into a nightmare. Designer coffee. I've never heard of that term. So the question he asked was, should I slow down and wait until we're on the same page or keep pushing on my own? I don't think you should slow down. I do think you need to be on the same page, because pushing on your own is just going to push you guys further apart. And you're going to have so much resentment towards her because you're over here busting your butt and she's just drinking her designer coffees and getting takeout.
Well, and she's probably getting yelled at and getting, kind of the brunt of the, you're holding us back and this is not moving forward because. And so, yeah, really taking that time to get on the same page.
Yes. So
it's so important.
I think you know what to do. It's just not going to be easy to have these conversations and get somewhere. And part of that is she's got to understand this shared common language that you learned in Financial Peace University that gave you this vision that you now have to get out of debt with what we call gazelle intensity. So she's got to do that as the foundation here if we're going to get anywhere. Good luck, my man. That's not an easy situation. All right, open phones this hour at 888-825-5225. Christina, last week you co-hosted with Rachel Cruz, and you guys got a wild call.
Yeah.
That it started to kind of make some waves out there. Can you fill in the listeners on what the heck happened?
Yeah, we got a bit of a wild call. Somebody called in. He has a fiance in Colombia whose mom has cancer and needs surgery. And we asked him how much money he had. He had $50,000 in the bank. And it just so happened that that's the exact amount that they needed for her cancer treatments and surgery. So it was a really kind of tricky call to navigate because he sounded pretty in love with this fiance. And at the same time, it kind of sounded like a scam. So we talked him through it, just kind of walked through it, but we didn't call him out for the scam part on air, but we did call him afterwards to talk to him.
Oh, I did not know this.
Find out a little bit more information and just let him know that this could potentially be a thing. So he has actually met the person several times. He's been down there.
She's real.
She is real, but at the same time, he does feel pretty hesitant about sending the money. He doesn't really know about the mom and if her situation's really legit. She is, she does have health challenges, but could also see her taking advantage of money. But the more I've explored this, the more that we've, really seen that this is a huge thing, this world of dating scams. It's a thing. I've talked to other people in coaching calls and in situations where people have been scammed by people who are just trying to get their money. And I think it's hard right now because on one hand, there are people out there who are desperate for money. And then on the other hand, coming out of the pandemic, there are people who are really desperate for love. Right?
Oh, my goodness.
And they want that connection and they want to feel like someone loves them back. So it makes them vulnerable for scams. So I want to quickly call out a few potential scams that are pretty common right now.
Okay, good. Make sure our listeners don't fall for it.
Yeah, so there is an airfare scam where you meet this person online and they're lovely and they're from a different country and all they need is X amount of money for you to bring them to the United States to meet. That's the way you do it. So you send them money for airfare, and then they go, oh, shoot, there's an extra expense for the visa. Can you send that too? And before you know, you're roped up and do a lot of money, and you get kind of desperate because you're like, this is my chance to meet the love of my life.
So sad.
I need to bring them here. So that's one. The sudden emergency, which could potentially have been the situation last week, where it's like, there's a medical crisis, there's some type of issue with the family where someone needs, money to get out of jail, which that would be kind of shady. But there's some big thing that they need this money right away. Or there's just the typical expenses, like I'd like for you to buy me jewelry or pay for expenses. But they're really good nowadays. Reading some of the examples and hearing from different stories, they're pretty tricky.
These scammers are super manipulative. You may not even be able to catch it.
I think a lot of people think like, I would know it. I would be able to sniff this out. But they're pretty sophisticated. So just a few important mentions if you're potentially in a situation like that, if you're talking to somebody who's in a situation like that, one of the biggest things is don't share your personal info. They do not need to know your address. They don't need to know, your family's information, your social security number, anything that they can do to kind of put you in an interesting situation. Be really careful with sharing that information. And then biggest thing, sending money is off limits. Like, especially if you've never met this person in person, if this is somebody who, you've just chatted with online, or if you've only met them online, potentially you've met them in a Google Hangout, which I guess is a really popular place for scammers.
Is that where kids are hanging out these days? Wow.
Yeah, but
I thought Google Hangout died a long time ago with MySpace. Oh my goodness.
But also be careful for keywords, like things like fate and destiny, like things that'll make you convinced that this is the love of your life and they're all in.
Yikes.
Those are kind of like a little bit of the hot button words.
Yeah,
so.
Anything with emotion and desperation, I'm going to go, red flag.
Red flag.
Hold, maybe we shouldn't Venmo this person $4,000. Or Zelle. That's a big one. Zelle's a tricky one.
There's a lot of different scams out there, y'all, so be careful.
Stay safe out there, people. And get ID theft protection, by the way.
Yes.
It's a huge one. Our friends at Xander offer it. It's super cheap. And, man, I've had that happen to me. Not the whole catfishing dating thing, but just identity theft. And it is a terrible, terrible situation. Well, thanks for the info, Christina. Glad we got back in touch with him. This is The Ramsey Show. Guys, right now you're hearing a lot of talking heads in the news stirring up fear about the real estate market. And if you believe them, you think the housing market will crash. It's going to be a repeat of the 2008 housing crisis. But you're not hearing the truth. And you can't make decisions based on fear. You need the facts. And here they are, simply put. In 2008, there was a huge supply of homes, not enough buyer demand, so home prices dropped. That's not what's happening in today's market. Right now, there are half as many homes for sale and twice as many buyers. That means home prices aren't going to go down anytime soon. They're growing at a slower rate. So you guys have seen asking prices come down, and you're going, oh my gosh, it's a crash. No, it was just inflated because it was like at the height of Beanie Babies. We were all trying to sell the Beanie Babies off at $200 a piece. And now they're coming back down to reality. And so that's what's happening. Values are not going down from what they were before. So if you're ready to buy a seller home, you do not need to wait. You can still win in this market, but you've got to work with an experienced real estate agent. And we've done the hard work for you of vetting agents who know your local market and have the transactions to back it up. This is not Uncle Larry who just got his license. So if you want to connect with a Ramsey trusted agent for free, go to RamseySolutions.com/agent and check out our endorsed local providers program. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com/agent. Open phones this hour, 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. I'm George Camel, joined this hour by Christina Ellis. And Christian is up next in Los Angeles. Christian, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what's going on?
Okay. So my question for you guys is that I had recently started a new job about a month ago. I'm a vet assistant. I've been working in the field for 10 years. It's all I've ever done. Now, I'm getting to the point where I'm realizing that I'm just not happy in the field anymore with what I'm doing, and I kind of want to start venturing out to go to trade school, specifically into like medical coding. And I think my question for you is that I currently don't have any debt. I have about $1,000 in savings. Would it be a good idea just to leave this current job and just go full-time into school? Because I do currently live with my parents at the moment. So, and, you know, they're perfectly okay with me kind of taking a break from rent at the moment right now.
How long is this medical coding program?
It's about, I believe, 8 to 12 months, if I'm not mistaken.
And do you know about how much time it's going to take you a week to do that, to do the program? I'm assuming it's a full-time program.
Right. Yeah, I know that it's Monday through Thursdays for the classes.
Are the classes during the day, or do they offer an evening option?
They are during the day.
Okay. Have you explored different schools that maybe potentially have an evening option where you could still keep that full-time job?
I have tried to look around before. I think the biggest thing for me is that I kind of want, I guess in a way, like an out from the field that I'm currently in. So that's why I'm looking into maybe just going to school full time so I don't have to continue doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I've asked them before too, and part time isn't an option for what we do, unfortunately. So
how much are you making right now?
Do you mean per hour or per year?
Is it hourly?
Yeah, it is hourly.
Okay, what's the hourly wage?
About 17.
17. Okay, so you're probably looking at, you're making about $34,000 yearly gross pay?
Roughly around that range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you open, let's say, okay, you want to be done being a vet assistant. Are you open to doing something else maybe you're a little bit more passionate about while you still work? Or while you go to school, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have looked in that before too. I think the hardest part for me, unfortunately, right now is just trying to really figure out, what other options there are. I'm currently 28, and I've been only working in this field since I was 17. So it is very hard to kind of figure out what else there is to do out there.
Yeah, if I'm in your shoes, I'm thinking I'm going to look into a tuition assistance program. I'm going to see if there's any employer out there that would pay me while I still go to school, not only pay me an hourly rate or pay me a salary, but also will help pay for some of my schooling. Because I think it's great if you can continue to work while you're getting that trade school program certificate, and also can help you graduate debt free. Because that's one of the biggest goals, is we don't want you to go into any debt while you're paying for this program. And also it's great that you've got your parents' support, because that's going to be a nice spot. You don't have to worry about room and board or housing or anything like that. But
what's the whole program cost for the 12 months?
For the 12 months that I saw, it was about $6,000.
Okay. And how did you plan on paying for that?
Well, I was going to try and find part-time work in the meantime. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be through the current job that I'm at. But yeah, it was, I just wanted to kind of get you guys' opinion on the situation, because I know you guys would probably recommend kind of saving up the $6,000 and then paying it as I go through the schooling.
Yeah, we definitely want you to cash flow it. It doesn't mean you have to have it all tomorrow, but you'd have to have a great game plan to make sure we're not going to have to touch debt to do this. Have you talked to your parents about this?
I have as well. They're very willing to pay the $6,000. I unfortunately don't want them to have to do that, because they're both retired at the moment.
Are they in a financial spot to do it? Like, do they want to be generous and gift this to you?
Yeah, they are totally capable of doing it. They're not in any sort of debt or
it's not going to put them in a bind, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. No, definitely not.
So why not allow them to be generous and cover your schooling? $6,000 comparatively to what most people would pay for college is a dream. If I'm a parent, I'm like, yes, absolutely.
Right.
And also there's the route of scholarships. Like if you don't want your parents to pay for it, you also don't want to work and save up the money, you could spend the next few months applying for scholarships and trying to get it that way. Just in a quick search, I found several scholarships that are for people who are trying to do medical coding or get into the medical field in some capacity.
Christina just did the homework for you, Christian. There's no out now. Now, I also would look into doctors' offices and hospitals and working part-time there, even in an administrative role. I almost guarantee you could make $17 an hour doing something like that. That would actually put you in kind of what Ken would call a proximity principle. You're already around the field you want to be in, even around the people doing medical coding. Have you thought about that?
I have actually found a few positions that are for like entry-level medical billing, just to kind of get my foot in the door
Yeah.
and do something, like you said, around it.
And maybe you do it and you go, I hate this. Or you do it and go, I love this, and I already have a connection, and now when I get through the program, they're already offering me a job.
Right.
That's
That
how
is
it
true.
works.
Yeah, I talked to this student who just graduated at one of the Building Wealth events. He was in the crowd, and he came up and he said, Christina, guess what? He's like, I went to work at a hospital just taking like a basic, regular administrative job, and they paid for me to become a nurse. Like, I used their tuition assistance, went completely debt-free, still made money while I was going to school. Now I have a nice savings account, a nice pile of money, and I went to school debt-free, and I'm earning more money. So it's kind of like a win in all directions.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing what happens when you just do a little bit of research and have a little bit of hope. But the problem is there's so much pessimism in this space of just like, well, applying for scholarships isn't going to be worth it. I'll never be able to work enough to cover school. And so I'm just going to go to this super expensive school and just put it all in loans, and I'll worry about it later, and my life's going to be way better off for it.
Right.
And we're seeing that people are not happy with their decision. They're regretting it. They're angry. They can't buy houses. They can't start families. They don't feel like they can get married because of their financial position.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard some stories, and it's just really sad. They were promised a beautiful, bright future, and it'd be easy to pay off the debt from the great degree that they would get, the great job they'd get after graduation, and it's a lot harder afterwards. And one of the most vulnerable spots, it's for people going back to school. A lot of people think, they're not happy in their current job, and if I just go back to school, it's going to fix my problems. It's going to make me feel better. And I'm not saying that's with this situation, but there are a lot of emotions when you reach that spot where you're unhappy in your career and you want to go back. So it's always super important to, one, question if a degree is really what you need to move forward and to feel that change in your life. And two, how are you going to do it debt free? Because a lot of people get in that spot where it's like, okay, now I need to get an education at all costs, and it's going to fix this hole I feel or this unhappiness I feel. And it might help with the financial part of that. It might help with a career change, but you really got to take the time to do it well and do it the right way and do it without debt.
Yeah, I always hear Ken Coleman say, is it the right path? Is it the best path? And a lot of the times, if you dig deep, you really realize it's neither.
Right.
I don't know why I'm doing this. I just didn't like my job, and so I thought going to school would just buy me some time to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, that's a real expensive way. You might as well just go to Europe and have a good time and just eat, pray, love instead of going into debt to do this. Good conversation, good hour, Christina. That puts this hour in the books. My thanks to the gang in the booth there, Austin, Ben, James, Zach, and Andrew, and you, America. Thanks so much for listening. We will be back with you before you know it.
Have you been inspired to make a change with your money? Want to know where to start? Take our 3-minute money quiz to get a plan you can follow. Go to RamseySolutions.com and search for Get Started to get a plan for your money. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm your host, Christina Ellis, joined by my co-host, George Campbell. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. First up, we have Charles calling from Nashville, Tennessee.
Right down the road.
Hey, Charles. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you.
Good. How can we help?
Hi. So I recently got married, and right before we had gotten married a few months ago, we had gone through the Financial Peace University, and we have $1,000 in savings, and we're trying to pay off some debts that we have, like a car and a camper. But we also, for the past year, have been building a house. We acquired some family land, and we've been trying to build a house debt-free for a year now. We're coming up close to having that house built. We're roughly about $15,000 away from having it built debt free, but we're trying to decide how much of our money we should be putting into the house, or should we put more into paying off our debts? And we just haven't quite figured out. We're kind of at a standstill right now.
So walk me through both scenarios. So let's say you were able to cash flow the rest of the $15K to get the house built, and you made minimum payments on the car and camper. Is that a feasible scenario?
Yeah, so that's actually what we've been doing for the past few months.
Okay. I see it kind of like if you were going to try to finish college debt-free. I would say, well, finish college debt-free, and then we'll attack the debt, because you're already knee-deep in this thing. There's no getting out. And so I'd rather you not go in debt further and cash flow the rest of this.
Okay, so
that's
just
my stance.
Go ahead and hold off our debt and build the house debt-free.
I mean, truthfully, I might sell the camper. Are you guys using this thing every week? Or is this kind of a toy?
We live in it. We live.
Oh,
in
you
it
live in the camper but then the house is built.
While we're building the house. Yep, and then we plan on selling the camper after the house is built and taking the profit from the camper and trying to pay that towards the car.
Oh,
and
that's
just kind of
brilliant.
building it on.
Okay, I like this plan. What do you think, Christina?
Do y'all have a fully funded emergency fund?
We do not have fully funded. We have $1,000 in savings. We've kind of got a lot of different incomes coming in. I'm what I call a jack of all trades. So we haven't quite gotten to fully funded emergency fund, but we do have a separate savings accounts for like the businesses. We have 3 different businesses, and we have savings accounts for each business, and then we have our own personal account and our own personal saving account for that.
Okay, yeah, because you guys are technically in baby step 2, which you don't have a fully funded emergency fund there, but it does make me a little bit nervous with building a house if something goes wrong.
Oh, yeah, it's frightening.
I love that you're building the house debt-free. That's awesome, but I do feel a little bit nervous about, like, what if an expense pops up that's a little bit more? What if, just the contractor is a little bit late and they need to get extra, their building project got more expensive. Just having that thought in mind that things could change.
Is there a builder's warranty on this?
No, there's not. We're doing it by hand. My family, I come from a family of custom home builders.
Oh, wow.
So we're building the entire house. Yeah.
So it sounds like if something went wrong, you guys could fix it. Yeah, you could fix something. Yeah. Okay, that makes me feel a little better that he's handy like that. Yeah, it's not an ideal scenario. If I could have chosen the order of when these things go, it would be let's wait till we're debt-free, have a fully funded emergency fund, and then cash flow building a house. But because we're already here, I think that's your best case scenario, is to avoid the debt, sell the camper, get rid of the car, and then build that fully funded emergency fund.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a pretty good plan.
Well, and that's going to feel great having a debt-free house. Good job on that, being able to do it as you go. That's awesome. Well, thank you for the call.
Way to go, Charles.
All right.
We'd love to see it.
Yeah. Next up, we have Jack calling from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hey, Jack. Welcome to the show.
Hey there. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. How can we help?
So I am 19 years old, and I'm a community college student. So I am graduating in the spring with my associate's degree with zero debt.
Good job. We like to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I've paid for it all out of pocket just through working part-time jobs, and I landed a job, part-time work now. It's about 20 hours a week, and I'm graduating in the spring, like I said, and I'm afraid of taking on debt going into my next 2 years of continuing my education. So I don't know. I need some advice on what to think about in terms of taking out loans or working more hours to save up more money to pay for the next 2 years.
Well, I'm just going to say up front, you've done an awesome job by not taking out debt thus far. Let's keep debt off the table. Let's not even say the word student loans. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, what kind of part-time job do you have right now? You said you're working 20 hours?
I work as an accounts receivable clerk for one of the car dealerships near where I work. It's part-time. I make $15 an hour, but if I was full-time, it would be $18 an hour. So I'm stuck on part-time because I'm a full-time student, obviously, and I didn't think that I'd be able to work full-time and do both of them full-time.
And what are you studying?
Business administration.
Okay.
What do you want to do at the end of that?
Something related to finance. Business administration was just the general one that I signed up for when I first started going to school, and then I plan on having a minor in accounting or finance, and I'm taking classes for that right now.
Awesome.
Well, I love your work ethic. I love that your first thought is to get that job and to start saving up money and to not take out student loan debt. If I'm in your shoes, I'm thinking really strategically about that part-time job. I'm going to look at places that have tuition assistance. So I would think if I'm in your shoes, I'm looking for an employer that's going to help pay for that last 2 years, hopefully pay for it 100%, plus allow me to build up a pile of cash. And what's cool is there's a lot of different companies that are doing that now. I mean, they may not be the most glamorous jobs. It may be retail. It may be working in a restaurant. But if it allows you to get that business degree debt-free while also earning money and gaining experience in some capacity, it can be a win on multiple levels. How do you feel about that? Do you have a certain tie to, a certain type of work? Or are you pretty open to it for if it means debt-free college?
That's a good question. I've had a job pretty much ever since I'm 19 right now. My very first job I got when I was 14. So I've worked a lot of manual labor, odd jobs, things like that kind of my entire life. I've never worked retail, and I've tried to stay away from that. But to be honest, I hadn't really ever thought about like a tuition reimbursement program. I've really never even looked into that. So that's something I could consider.
Well, and even just do it really strategically. Like retail could be like your last option. See if you can find a great job at a business that has tuition reimbursement. And maybe you could be an assistant manager. Maybe you could, do something that helps you also flex those business muscles so that when you graduate, you have experience to put on your resume that you're proud about and that can actually help you get that next job. Hey, thanks for the call. I love your motivation. I love that. I love
Sharp guy.
that he's 19 and you're having these conversations. That's just awesome. Well, thanks for the call. This is The Ramsey Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. We're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Next up, we have Bill calling from Midland, Michigan. Hey, Bill, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, great. How can we help?
So thanks for everything you guys do. I've got a question. My wife and I are debt-free aside from the house, and we're on 4, 5, and 6 right now. We both own our own businesses, and so we sold our previous house last year, and we were able to put everything we made on that one onto our current one, and only had to take out a loan for about $60,000.
Awesome.
And on about a $210,000 purchase, which was awesome and a huge blessing. But so I feel like and think that we can pay off said house by December of this year if we keep saving what we're saving currently. And talked to my wife about it. We only owe a balance right now of about just over $49,000 on it, so we've been paying extra on it too. And had a conversation with her the other day, laid it all out and showed her, and she was on board with it. And she was just like, she's like, I understand where you're coming from, and it's cool, and I'm on board with it, but I'd like to talk to my dad first together just to make sure it's a wise idea, because her dad's a CPA. And I say all this prefacing the fact that I respect my father-in-law a lot. We have a great relationship. I respect his opinion, but he's also not necessarily like get out of debt, stay out of debt, care kind of guy, you know? Like he's bought like a car on loans every couple of years, carries credit cards, which to each their own, like whatever, but I feel like we're on different levels of that idea. And so I was like, well, I'll talk to him, but I probably already know what he's going to say. And so we had the conversation, and he was like, well, I don't see the point of paying off such a small loan with such a small interest rate, and you could just save up cash. I was like, well, I feel like we could pause our investing for a couple months in order to do this and then restart the process of that. He's like, well, I wouldn't invest right now either because the market's crap. And I was like, well, what would you do?
Goodness gracious.
You wouldn't pay off the house and you wouldn't invest. And he's like, I'll just pile up cash. I was like, but we've done that. And so my question is, what should we do?
I think you switched the conversation to football and politics, and you do you when it comes to money. Now, does your father-in-law pay your bills? Does he pay your mortgage?
No.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
And I'm right there with you. Like, he has an opinion, but his opinion is not the final vote.
Yeah, I can have deep respect for the man. I can love him. Same thing with my dad. You know, we talk money, and I get frustrated, and we change the subject because we are not going to agree. And I say, thank you for your opinion. We are not taking a poll at this time. What's for dinner? You know, and so I think that's the relationship.
Well, my whole thing with it, too, is like, so it's a kind of a two-parter. Is like, yes, it'll take out a lot of our savings, but we'll still have an emergency fund left over if we wait till December to do this, because we'll have at least 5 months of savings saved up, and then we'll be able to save that money right back up, plus then, you know, the house payment every single month.
Yeah.
And we both own our own businesses. My wife owns a CrossFit gym, and I'm a massage therapist. So aside from pandemics and whatnot ever happening again, like physically, I don't know when my last day of work's ever going to be, you know, and I make good money right now. So I'd rather get everything paid off now while I make good money so that later I don't have to worry about that when I need to take a different job.
That's a great mentality. And on top of that, Bill, I would not pause investing. So if you're doing 4, 5, and 6, you're investing 15%. If you've got kids, you're putting some away for college. And then anything left over, we're throwing at the house. So I do agree. If you want to go down to, 4-month emergency fund and put the rest on the house and get this thing paid off, man, you're going to sleep better. And your father-in-law, while probably a lovely person, doesn't get a vote when it comes to what you do with your money. So,
well, you guys are so close to the finish line. Like a December payoff, that is going to be a debt-free house that you're going to keep for years moving forward. So that's just going to let you walk on that freedom. And I think you're right. As a business owner, that security that comes from having no mortgage, no payments in the world, it's going to change the way you approach business. It's going to help you feel so much more free. So, yeah, I agree. Football. Maybe politics.
Maybe politics. I don't know. I personally wouldn't. I stay away from all of that. I stay away from both, honestly. Sports, politics, I know very little about either. I'll stick to money.
Money. We might need some more conversation topics, George.
That's true.
All right. Next up, we have Dave calling from Jupiter, Florida. Hey, Dave. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
We're doing great. How can we help?
I had a question about renter's insurance, if that was something worth purchasing.
1,000%. Get it today.
Yeah?
What made you not want to get it? A lot of places require it, but it depends on where you're renting.
Yeah, well, it's actually it's not for me personally. My sister, she lived in Fort Myers. Of course, there was the hurricane that just blew through there. And so she's looking to locate over here to the east coast of Florida, close to me, and she's needing to rent something. And she's more so looking. I guess the owner of the house that she was renting didn't have flood insurance. Apparently, there's a lot of people who don't have flood insurance in Florida, so it's new to me. But she started asking me about renter's insurance, and I had no idea about renter's insurance, so I figured I'd ask you guys for your advice, or even if that covers anything like flood damage.
Well, most of them don't. You're going to need to add that onto the renter's insurance, and so you can have her contact Xander Insurance through our website, Ramsey Solutions, and she definitely needs renter's insurance today, and it covers a ton. I mean, it for sure will cover fire, hail, lightning, theft and vandalism, windstorm, plumbing system freezes, a vehicle hits your house, someone gets hurt in the house. It covers all types of things, and it's super cheap. I mean, you're talking $10 to $20 a month for most of these policies. Now, I don't know with Florida. I know it's been crazy with the hurricane and floods, and people can't get insurance. They're having to pay crazy amounts of money to get covered, but it's just part of the deal if you're going to live in one of these, areas that are prone to flooding. So
right.
Definitely get it.
Yeah, it's so important. And that's great that you're having that conversation with her, because there's a lot of young people that have no clue. They get out there, they get their apartment, they think that if that was required, it would be part of your signing.
They think their landlord's insurance covers their stuff, and it doesn't. And Dave had this happen to one of his tenants way back in the day, and there was a fire. And they said, okay, when do we get our check for all of our stuff? And Dave's like, that's not how it works. I legally can't even do that. And so it was a hard, stupid tax they learned, and a really sad one, to not have renter's insurance in place. And so if you are a renter, part of the deal is you get renter's insurance. And a lot of, apartment complexes require it. Well, when I was renting, and some landlords should. I feel like if you're a landlord, please require your renters to get it, because it protects you and, of course, your tenants. So this is a A1 you got to get in place, and our friends at Xander can help you out and make sure they will shop independently all of the best companies out there to find you the best rate in your area. So I highly recommend doing that today.
Yeah, and having those conversations, it's so important. I mean, I know you've talked a lot about insurance and just doing a checkup overall. I think it's important. It's a good call out to renter's insurance is important, but there's a lot of different types of insurance that people need to make sure that they have in their life, that they have covered. And it's not something that usually comes up over dinner.
The happy hour.
Right.
Let's talk renter's insurance. Well, we did a free 5-day walkthrough called Confidence in Your Coverage. You can sign up for that at ramseysolutions.com/confidence. And every day for 5 days, there's a 3-minute video from me, and I'm breaking down a different type of insurance. I promise you, I at least attempted jokes. I mean, it's insurance, so I get it. But if you don't enjoy it, you get your money back. And the check is going to be exactly worth what you paid, and it's $0. So ramseysolutions.com/confidence if you want some weekend plans. You can start to tune into those videos, Christina. I know that's what you're itching to do.
Well, you don't often hear the word jokes and insurance in the same sentence, but if anybody can make that work together, it's you.
I tried my hardest. I'm like, we need to make money fun at all costs. And if that means me trying to make a dumb joke that even gets your brain to go, gosh, that joke was so dumb, I feel like at least you're paying attention.
So if you need some entertainment around insurance, y'all, check it out.
There you go.
We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Right now is the time of year when it's make or break when it comes to our goals. We're heading into the holiday season, and let's be real, it's hard to stay motivated. We all have goals, whether it's to find a better job, make more money, pay off debt, build stronger relationships, and it can be hard to keep momentum going. But here's the good news. Coming up in a couple weeks, we have one of our biggest events, Smart Conference. We're headed to Dallas for a day-long, jam-packed event where you'll get advice from leading experts on money, personal growth, career, mental health, and your marriage. You'll leave with all the knowledge and motivation you need to reach your goals and live the life you want to live. Join me and the rest of the Ramsey personalities, Dave Ramsey, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, Rachel Cruz, George, to get a plan for your money, relationships, and career growth. Join us live in person on October 22nd to get your passes before they sell out. Visit ramseysolutions.com/events to get your tickets today.
I love it. I love that I'm like Madonna now. I'm just George.
You're
love
just
it.
George.
Don't even need the last name. You all know.
You don't need further introduction.
You don't even know. Well, that's going to be a fun event. I mean, I have been to many, many of these, and it is seriously the most fun you can have at a very insane price point. For an all-day event, we've got a live band. I'm going to try to join the band. I'm going to audition live at Smart Conference, see if they'll accept me in case my talk doesn't go well. But it's going to be a great time. It really is a great event to bring someone who doesn't really know Ramsey, and you're like, hey, just get a taste of everything they do.
Yes.
the kind of hope that we want to bring in every area of your life, from personal growth to career to mental health to money. And it really, it's like drinking from the fire hose, and you leave and you're exhausted, and yet you're so on fire to go change some areas of your life.
Yeah, if you need a jolt of motivation, come see us in Dallas in just a few weeks.
Make the drive, make the flight, whatever you got to do. Dallas is a great, central point for a lot of people to visit. And people come from all over the world to these events.
That's so exciting. Hey, we're taking your calls, 888-825-5225. Next up, we have Monica calling us from St. Louis. Hey, Monica, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for you guys having me. I'm so nervous. Okay, let me tell you guys what I did.
It's just us. We're just
wrong.
hanging out having a conversation.
Oh, okay. Okay, I messed up real bad. Okay, so I bought a house. It's not my primary residence. I actually bought a duplex where I stay on one side and rent out the other. I bought it in May. I didn't listen to you guys, the Dave Ramsey show until June. So Dave said that you were supposed to actually pay cash for the investment. I didn't know that. I actually just went ahead and bought it, and I thought I can do the little hack where you stay on one side and then the other side they're supposed to have enough to cover. It didn't go like that. They actually they don't pay enough to cover the whole mortgage. Actually they're really under market. I didn't even raise their rent because the lady, she's been there for about 3 years now, so I didn't even bother to raise her rent. So it's not market price at all. And I feel like I'm stuck. I want to sell it back. And the lady that helped me, the realtor, she said if I sell it back, the most I will just probably break even, which is kind of okay with me. I don't mind. I don't mind breaking even. I just want to get. It's not like a bad area. It's really a nice area. The duplex it's 1 bedroom shotgun. It's just I did the steps wrong.
That's okay.
Bought my primary
you know what that means, Monica? It means you're over 12 years old if you've made a money mistake. And we've all been there. And some people do it with more zeros on the end, and it's okay. We're going to learn from it. We're not going to make it again. And honestly, breaking even is a best case scenario for you. A lot of people lose money on these deals.
Okay.
And so what happens if you sell this thing and you break even? Where does that put you financially?
It's money. Well, I'm in a good deal right now because I have my student loans I'm finna pay off. So it really wouldn't do anything. It wasn't making me or breaking me. Really, I don't.
Okay.
Really, I just want to get out. I just want to get out the deal real bad.
Would you have to go find somewhere to rent?
No. I have my living situation. Everything is perfect. It's just, this duplex is just over my head. Oh my God, it's horrible. But
Well, thank you for dissuading all of the people on TikTok out there who are peddling this crap. You got to do the house hack, man. They pay your mortgage for you. You get rich so quick.
No, it's not. No,
thank
nothing
you,
like
Monica.
that. I was listening to somebody else's podcast. I can't mention his name, but he was like other people money, and I'm like, really? I can do that? And it's nothing like that. It's not like that at all. But
a lot of people need to hear that today. Like you said, it's so trendy right now. A lot of people are thinking that they're going to be the one that gets rich doing this way, and they end up in that situation where
if you hear the word house hacking, just run. So Monica, yes, you're gonna pay that. You're gonna sell that thing, break even, and then we're gonna attack all of your consumer debt from smallest to largest using the debt snowball, and just leave $1,000 for that starter emergency fund in the bank. And once you're debt free and you build up a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and then we can start to invest and we can start to do things the right way, one at a time with focused intensity. And Monica can be a real estate investor later on in life when she's at the place to do it, and it's not a stressor, it's a blesser.
Oh.
You like that? You like that? She hated that. It's okay, Christina. You can admit it.
I'll just let that hang there. All right, next up we have Daniel calling from San Bernardino, California. Hey, Daniel, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. So I'm 21 years old. I just had a baby. She's currently 3 months year old.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And then I'm having trouble just financially. I owe $66,000 in debt. I tried a monthly payment. Budgeting. And I'm just having trouble budgeting. Me and my girlfriend, we're trying to do it on our own. And as well, we're also trying to get out of my parents' house. We currently pay rent, and we pay rent for 1 bedroom. That's it. All 3 of us just in one room, so it's kind of hard right now.
Well, it doesn't sound like you've got a lot of options as far as moving out and renting your own place, which is going to be more expensive, right?
Yeah.
How much are you paying your parents in rent right now?
I pay my parents $1,000 a month right now.
Okay.
Okay. How long have you tried budgeting? You said you tried it for a little bit.
It's been about a total of like 7 to 8 months, six to 8 months.
What are you using to budget?
Just my regular calculator, just figure my monthly expenses, what I have left over. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really.
Okay, I'm going to gift you EveryDollar, which is our app. It's online as well, and this should help you. You can do this on the go, and it's digital, and so your girlfriend can look at this as well. Are you guys combining finances? I know it's a tricky situation since you've got a kid with your girlfriend now.
Yeah, we have our finances combined. I'm actually the only one working right now.
Okay, what's your income?
I make about $75 annually.
Okay, great. What do you do?
I'm a construction worker.
Okay.
I work on gas lines.
And so your take-home pay, I'm guessing in California it's lower than other areas. Do you know what your monthly take-home pay is?
Yes, it's currently, this is with a little bit of overtime, but it's about $4,800 monthly.
Okay, great. And the rent is $1,000 of that, and you've got a few other expenses, I imagine, especially with a kid now.
Yes.
So how much is left over to tackle the debt at the end of every month?
Let me see. I can do the math really fast.
Is it, $500 extra left over that you can tackle the debt? Is it $1,000?
It's about, around $600 to $800.
Okay. What kind of debt is the 66?
I have $30,000 in student loans, $6,000 in credit cards, $18,000 in a car, and then $13,000 is a personal loan.
Okay, what's the car worth?
The car, I'm upside down. It's currently worth $16,000, and I owe $22,000 on it.
Oh, you said 18. Okay. Well, that changes things. Okay, hang on the line. Austin's going to pick up. We're going to gift you Financial Peace University as well. What I want you to do is watch all 9 lessons with your girlfriend. We're going to send you EveryDollar as well. Get on a written budget every month. Shave down all the expenses you can. Work all the overtime you can so we can start tackling this debt.
More of your calls coming up. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day is Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. John Mark Comer says, our time is our life, and our attention is the doorway to our hearts. Oof, so good. I'm Christina Ellis, joined by George Camel. This is The Ramsey Show. Let's go to the phones. James calls us from Salt Lake City, Utah. Hey, James, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, so I'm on baby step 2. I'm also trying to plan on saving up for a wedding. A couple weeks ago, I bought a ring. I saved up cash and bought it.
Good.
And so I'm going to be asking her in the next couple weeks.
Congrats. That's exciting. It's very exciting. Are you freaking out?
Kind of, yeah, but we're on the same page financially.
Good.
It's just, so all I have left is $5,000 on a car.
Okay.
I will have it paid off by March. I've been getting gazelle intense. Just paid off all my credit cards a couple weeks ago, but
awesome.
I'm just wondering, so we're thinking of getting married early summer, maybe late spring, so around April or May. I'm just kind of worried if like I get to the step where I pay off the car, never going into debt ever again. I just wonder, like, I don't think 2 months is fast enough to save up for a wedding.
Why is it all on you to pay for a wedding?
I don't know.
Do you know that for
sure?
sure?
I think we'll get support. Not for certain. I think we'll get support from our folks. But I was just wondering, like, I guess once I figure out how much I would contribute, I'm just not sure if I'll have enough time. But
sure,
I guess if I don't know.
Have you had this conversation with your fiance?
Yes. Yeah, we're super open about this.
Okay. How does she feel about it? Does she feel that financial stress, or do you truly feel like it's all on you?
No, I think it's kind of on both of us. She has no debt. She actually has a lot more money than me. She's a saver. And I've kind of gotten her onto the Ramsey thing, but she's so good about it anyways, before I kind of went into it a bunch. So,
well, an easy way to look at it is however much money we have is how much we can spend on a wedding. And that might mean making some compromises, some sacrifices. We don't get this venue, we go to this venue. We're going to DIY the centerpieces on the tables. There's a lot of things you can do to shave costs down. It doesn't need to be the most extravagant party of all time. So that's how I like to look at it, because when you take debt off the table, you just start to get creative and go, okay, we can't do a $20,000 wedding. We can do a $7,000 wedding. What does that look like?
And I mean, I know there's a lot of social pressure. A lot of people, you've probably been to a lot of weddings from friends, and you've had family members have weddings, and they may have an open bar and a plated meal and all of that. And you kind of feel that pressure to keep up, but it's your wedding. It's your finances. You have worked so hard for where you're at. You're going to keep working hard. Your fiance is out of debt. We want to keep you there. So it's like, you got to just own where you are. And if it's not the most glamorous wedding, that's okay. I mean, me and my husband, our wedding was under $5,000. Any person who was like, hey, I'm willing to help you, set up for your wedding, I was like, I will take it.
Yes.
I had people ironing out the tablecloths. I mean, literally anybody who offered to help, I was like, yes, sold. So
absolutely.
And
worry about that when the time comes. Tomorrow's got its own troubles. So let's just focus on what we can do today, which is getting out of debt. Let's start to build that emergency fund. And as we get close to the wedding, we're going to have the conversations with family and go, hey, here's what we're planning. Are you guys able to contribute? Were you planning on contributing? And you might be shocked. And the parents go, yeah, we'll chip in $5,000 and we'll chip in $5,000. And then she can chip in $5,000. You can chip in however much you can contribute.
Yeah, that's so good.
And so just the key is stick to a budget, make it reasonable, and don't get all starry-eyed and go, well, we need this $4,000 arch of flowers that are going to die 4 hours later. The wedding industry has gotten insane.
It's a whole thing. Next up, we have Dan calling from Charlottesville, Virginia. Hey, Dan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Christina. Hey, George. How are y'all?
Great. Thanks for calling. How can we help?
Sure thing. I had a question about paying down a house. I wanted to put this out there in case anyone else is in a similar situation. My wife and I are 31 with no consumer debt. Our mortgage is on a 15-year fixed at 2.5%. We're on track to pay that off early.
Awesome.
Before we knew how aggressively we wanted to pay that down, we had a chunk of money above our 20% in our emergency fund that we decided to set aside for a few years until we had clearer goals, updates to the house in case we needed a car. We've started a family since then. So it's been great having that there. But it's currently in a brokerage account that was performing extremely well until a short while ago. But the balance in that account and the balance on the mortgage have been slowly ticking closer to each other, or they were. My question is this: would you still suggest cashing out non-retirement mutual funds and, taking a $20,000 bath in the name of debt freedom, or does it ever make sense to delay paying off non-consumer debt for 12 to 18 months so as to not secure the losses of a bear market?
It's a great question, and it's a hard one emotionally to grapple with when you're selling your shares, at a loss, essentially. I mean, obviously, you guys have done well in this account. I'm guessing, it's well beyond your contributions, right?
Oh, yeah.
As far as the growth, it's just not as much as it was. And so you're like, man, we could have sold at the top. Yeah, it's probably lost 20%, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
How much is in there today?
$65, I think.
And what's left on the mortgage?
About $120.
Okay. So, I mean, they're far enough away that I'm good with you continuing to just pay down the mortgage with your income. What do you guys make?
Before side hustles, just north of 110.
Awesome. And so currently, or outside of this brokerage account, what was your debt payoff goal for the house?
You mean on timeline?
Yeah, was it 3, 4, 5 years?
Well, originally it was like 10 to 12 years, and as we got closer, and just as incomes rose, and just as we realized that, we were in a pretty good situation financially, and have been just chunking extra on it every month. We've realized that paying it off by the time we're like 35 or 37 is a definite possibility.
You guys can do a lot better than that. I mean, how much can you throw a month at this mortgage? $4,000?
Probably not that much, but we're, almost certainly 25 to 3.
Okay. So that's about 36 a year. So you're looking at under 4 years. That puts you at 35.
Yeah.
And once those mutual funds, maybe set a goal and say, hey, once it hits 75 and it climbs back up, we're cashing out. You're going to have tax implications. And so I would talk to a tax pro and look at what that's going to be and set that money aside in a savings account so you're ready for tax time. But outside of that, you might be able to get to the point where you've got the mortgage down to 75 and your investments are at 75 or plus, and we can just wipe out the mortgage instantaneously.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, but you can hold for now. It's not doing much harm if it emotionally hurts to sell at a loss right now or sell those shares while they're low. We can see what the market does. It may be another year. We just don't know before the market climbs back up, but you'll still have the mortgage hanging around. But, to still have your mortgage paid off in your early 30s is incredible.
Right.
These are just very driven people, and we love to see it.
It's weird and amazing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of these conversations happening right now in a lot of households with the market being down, and there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of concern. And I think, this is just one of those times where, stay the course. You guys are doing awesome. And I'm excited to see you guys on this debt-free stage here soon.
Oh, yeah.
Screaming out that you're debt-free.
We love to see people in their 20s and 30s getting a hold of this stuff early, because that means the next 30 to 70 years of their life is just going to be absolutely incredible, completely debt-free.
So exciting. Well, that puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. If you like the show, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing it with a friend. Big thanks to all the guys in the booth for running the show, and to my co-host, George Camel, and to you, America. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.
Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.